suspect you have questions.
Hey, Wolfpack is Crimson and welcome back to the channel. And first and foremost, guys, oh my maker, we got a Dragon Age teaser from the Game Awards. It's been 2 years since their initial teaser trailer at 2018's Game Awards, where we kind of got the official confirmation that Dragon Age 4 is a thing. But in this year's Game Awards 2020, we got pretty much another teaser trailer. And first and foremost, let's just go with the fact that the first voice you hear is Varric. And I want to say, I don't expect him to come back as a full companion. I more expect him to come back more as an advisor, kind of like how Josephine, Liliana, and Cullen were in Inquisition. So I expect him to be more in that advisory role. And just expect him more like that. And the second thing I want to mention is the fact that we didn't get a release date, which I think everyone kind of anticipated we want to get a release date officially. So I'm expecting the game to come out 2022, so maybe we get another trailer during E3 2021 when we get an official release date of 2022, maybe 2023 at the very latest. But with all that said, let's break down this trailer.
I face tyrants and would-be gods.
First and foremost, with the trailer, you hear Varric, like I've said, and he mentions the fact that he's fought tyrants, which obviously goes back to Meredith in DA2, and he's fought would-be gods, which is obviously Corypheus from Inquisition. And in those mirrors, you see Meredith with her sword, the Rayllerium sword that she crafted from the Rayllerium item, and Corypheus with the orb that he obtained from one of Solus's agents.
Seen friends lose life and limb.
Seeing friends lose life and limb, obviously one is life could obviously be talking about Hawke if he went into the Fate Inquisition and presumably died there, or it could refer to Anders if we decided to murder knife him, or several other things that could have happened in Varric's past. As far as limb, it could definitely be a hint towards the Inquisitor who loses their hand at the end of Trespasser DLC.
But there's always someone bent on breaking the world. It's time for a new hero.
So first hint we get right here, as the scene pans down, we see these new creatures, which, they look very turtle-like, and as to where they are, it could be a desert area, given that you see kind of mountain landscapes in the back, or it could very well be a beach, because if they are, turtle-like and everything, then they might be coming from the sea. Because I also say the beach because you see hints of maybe water on the ground. But it's up to interpretation of if this is a beach area or if it's the desert. But as we continue on, you see a pair of legs with very Grey Warden-like boots on. So hints to say is most likely it's a Grey Warden that we got through like the Dev Inside trailer we got a little while back. Most likely it's the Warden that we heard in that teaser trailer as well. If this is a Grey Warden, then I'm inclined to believe that this is a desert, so it might be the Anderfels, probably near Weissup maybe. But I don't believe these are Darkspawn. Highly doubt they're Darkspawn. I don't know if they are, then that's a whole new breed of Darkspawn that we're seeing. But not too much we can really infer here other than the fact these are newish creatures. Might be a Grey Warden, might be the Anderfels, might be a beach area. Who's to say?
No magic hand. No ancient prophecy.
In this next shot, we see a very castle-like structure, and I want you to pay attention. I want you to make note of this structure because in the next shot, it's the same castle, or it looks to be the same type of castle or tower in the next scene that we see. But if you pay attention to like the long, slender main tower there, and then the one off to the left, that's kind of just tilted off to the left of that main tower. It's the same one in the next scene that we see, because I'm gonna go with that this is the same area. And if I had to guess what area this is, based off of where our friend right here on this gargoyle-like structure is, I think this is Antiva. The reason I think this is Antiva is because the individual here with the cup, with the goblet, is very Antivan Crowish to me, and also because of the structure he's sitting on is very like it also looks kind of like a crow, reminds me of a crow as well. So it would just make sense if this is Antiva because it's just gives me that feel of Antiva. Also because down below you see a very river-like thing flowing through the city, which Antiva is a port city. So it just makes sense that it'd be Antiva to me. It just rings Antiva more than anything else in this scenario. I could see hints that it might be Ravane, but considering the fact that I think we're going to be visiting probably parts of Weissupt or maybe NFLs, maybe, but most definitely we're going to get to Venter and maybe parts of Antiva. Putting in Ravane in there might be a little much. Granted, who's to say? But if we get to Venter, I think it's more likely we get Antiva or anything else because Antiva is just to the east of Venter as opposed to Ravane, which is further east from Antiva. So I'm expecting this to be more Antiva, deal with more of like the Antivan crows maybe, given some other concept that we have.
No magic hand. No ancient prophecy.
So Varric says, no magic hand, no ancient prophecies. One of the magic hands obviously referencing the Anchor and the Inquisitor, and no ancient prophecies, which I don't know who the ancient prophecies is actually speaking of because I don't believe there's been a prophecy about the Warden, Hawk, or the Inquisitor. Not that I can think of off the top of my head either. It could be referring to Sandal's prophecy, maybe. But I think Sandal's prophecy was more inclined to speak about Sodas, so who's to say? But overall, it's just saying that our new protagonist has nothing to do with any of this. He's virtually, or they are virtually going to be, someone from nothing, which I look forward to.
The kind of person they'll never see coming.
Now, this scene, I think everybody will be talking about this scene more than probably anything else, is because this is our first official look at Tevinter. And confirmation that this is Tevinter is that you can see the dragon sigils on the side right here. And this just looks insane because you get the feeling that Tevinter is a very, robust city. I mean, given the fact there are magical glyphs just like all over the city, like especially like the one to the right, the few to the left, and the one green one to the middle and everything. These glyphs, I'm not sure what they represent. It could be, if I had to guess, I think this is like a red light kind of district because it might be showing off storefronts and everything. That's probably how Tevinter, shows off what store everything is. Because that's kind of what this represents to me. It kind of looks like signs outside of stores, but instead of like, your own natural wooden signs like in most cities and everything, like in Thedas, Tevinter uses magic to kind of show off like, hey, this is this specific store. They might do this also for families, but given how far down this appears to be, this looks like somebody who's looking up from probably like a more red light district or a more downtrodden area of Tevinter up at the more noble status, especially at that, floating kind of tower right there, which if I had to guess, I would think that might be the circle tower of Tevinter, maybe, or where the Magisters hold their meetings and everything. So I'm thinking one of the two, but again, speculation, not really sure. But overall, Tevinter looks very nice, and it reminds me a lot of like Tim Burton's Gotham, which it was very kind of gothic in itself, but it's also very like like kind of crazy. So I look forward to see like how much Tevinter really leans into that gothic type of style. But Tevinter looks insane. I can't wait to actually go in and explore the city.
The kind of person they'll never see coming.
So, as Varric says, that the prime person that they'll never see coming. I'm wondering if we'll get origin stories back in this game, rather than just like some text. I kind of somewhat hope we do a little bit, just to flesh out our own character a little bit more. Because we kind of got that, definitely got it with Origins, kind of got it with DA2, where we fleshed out Hawk's backstory of him coming from Ferelden. We didn't get it so much with the Inquisitor, which, even though I love Inquisition, I think that's why I didn't connect too heavily with my Inquisitor, even though I still love it, I think. But I would prefer to have some kind of origin playthrough in DA4, but we'll see. If they give us a little something, I'll be happy. It doesn't have to be a large part of it. Maybe 20 minutes of gameplay for the origin, something like that, would be helpful just to help me connect with the character a little more. But someone they never see coming, this just makes me think Origins, because maybe it's a former Tevinter slave who's now fighting against Tevinter and Solus. Maybe it's a Qunari, anything, like just give us a little bit of backstory. As to who this character is, it could be our protagonist, or it could be, the same individual we saw in that supposedly Antivan shot with the cup of wine. I'm leaning more towards this is an Antivan Crow because of the dagger. It has kind of somewhat wings on it. So I kind of think it's an Antivan Crow in that same character, but hard to say already. It could be our protagonist, could be an Antivan Crow, could just be some random person trying to kill this guy in a back alley. Because this person does see them. I'm not sure if they're running away from this individual with the dagger here, or if they're leading them somewhere to help. So kind of hard to tell. From my perspective, it looked like the guy saw the guy with the dagger and just sprinted away.
We've got your back. I've got your back. Demons, dragons, darkspawn.
So Varric says, we've got your back, I've got your back. I'm thinking that more, obviously, it goes to your companions, but also, most likely, like the Inquisition, what's left of it, does have your back in the general, and that he's got your back, which again, I don't think Varric is going to be a full companion. I think he's going to be more of an advisor role, because at the end of Trespass and everything, they want people to go after Solus who he wouldn't see coming, and he doesn't know. So having Varric as a companion kind of throws that off a little bit, because if Solus is going to know people, he's going to know Varric, given how much he likes to talk and the story he tells. So I would probably prefer Varric more as a advisor rather than a full companion for a third time in a row. So I love Varric. I really do. I want him to keep narrating Dragon Age, but I just want more new companions as well. So give me new companions, keep Varric as an advisor, but let him continue narrating the story of Dragon Age through each game. I would love that. But going on to this new scene where we see this person walking through, the mountains and the snow, this character is legitimately odd because I have no idea who they are. I don't think it's a Qunari. Like this horn-like thing in the back of their head, I'm pretty sure it's just a part of the headdress or the hood that they're wearing. I don't think it's actual Qunari or anything. And I can't make a comment on, I can't really say what faction they're with. I can take guesses, but I really just don't know. Going up until like when they pull the bow back. Now the bow itself is probably more interesting to me than the actual character, because the bow kind of resembles what we saw in the concept art with the mages or people fighting with those triangles kind of floating. So I'm very representative of that. But what this also reminds me of is Solus's orb, because it has this very Fade-like aura to it. It might just be like a Fade type boat, but for some reason it brings like ancient elven magic to me, kind of like the orb does. So maybe the person is elven. Maybe they're fighting against Solus because they just want to go against him, or maybe they don't like the Evanuris. I can't really say it. It's very hard on who this character is. So what that elf could be, he could, if it is an elf, it could be like how Albalas was there in Mathal's temple, just kind of a resident of something very old. Which I think that would be interesting if it's somebody who used to serve the old gods, but turned away from them. That would be interesting. That would be very cool to see. But then you got a question like, well, why are they turning against the elven gods? Who's to say? I don't know. But that would be a cool companion, someone who actually knew the elven gods in a different form than how Solus knows them, and just literally wants to turn away from them. So that might be where they got this very ancient looking, but at the same time advanced technology. Because it also reminds me of the Sharpertal and their lyrium firing weapons like in the Descent. So that's very cool. But also it could just be a Fade bow, which just shoots Fade arrows. So who's to say? I look forward to seeing what this character is, and especially about that bow. Next thing you gotta take note of, is the area that they are in. It's very reminiscent of like the initial teaser trailer where there was a lot of red lyrium. Hard to say what the heck is going on here, but obviously this place is very infected, and that's definitely a darkspawn they're firing at. I'm not sure which kind of darkspawn. I'm leaning more towards a Genlock, given the fact that it's a heavier build character or heavier build enemy. Because Hurlocks are usually more slender and human-like, but Genlocks are more sturdy and bulky, kind of like dwarves. And more recently, they're kind of somewhat bigger than actual dwarves as well. But it's definitely not a Shriek, and it's definitely not an Ogre. So I'm going more with Genlock. If not, maybe a new type of darkspawn, or maybe it's just a blighted creature that we haven't seen before. So I don't know. One of those options. And Varric says, he's got your back through demons, dragons, and darkspawn. So we'll be fighting against the obvious demons and dragons, and actually demons, darkspawn, but especially dragons. I look forward to fighting more dragons. But he also says, and of course, the Dread Wolf himself.
Even the Dread Wolf.
Now, this is going to be interesting because Sodas, while yes, his appearance is very different, I don't mind it. Again, this is more cinematic trailer, so his appearance is going to be somewhat different. I don't mind it. You can very clearly tell it's Sodas because Wills has that, egg-like head. But I'm sure what most people are going to theorize on and speculate on is the mural behind him, which in the trailer you don't get a very clean picture of what's in it. Even though at the beginning of the trailer you kind of see it going towards the left and right of what's on it. But I'm going to bring up a more definitive image of the mural that he has from the Dragon Age website. And on the left and right you see two figures upside down with glowing orbs behind them. That kind of also reminiscent of like the initial Dragon Age trailer we got 2 years ago, where there were things missing from the mural. I'll probably also put that up on screen as well. Like there were two orbs that was still glowing in the mural with the red lyrium idol. And people, a lot of YouTubers, a lot of Dragon Age fans suggest that that's representative of the two archdemons that are left, the two old gods that are left. And I'm inclined to kind of agree with that. But is that what this mural represents? It could. I think it could be part of it, but I don't think it's just that one thing. It could also be representative of just the elven gods that are coming down after Finharel just destroys the Veil and combines the Wakenrel with the Fade. But as to what the two silhouettes representative of, I'm inclined to believe that the more feminine looking one to the left is Mythal, and the other one to the right is Elganon. And the reason I think that's because it just makes sense to kind of put the two heads of the gods as in that mural to show that they're coming back. Even though we know Mythal is in Plymouth and not dead and everything, or not completely dead. But I just think it makes more sense because to put Mythal and Elganon just to symbolize the Elven God's return makes the most sense to me. I can't speculate that this is Ghilannon and Druil or Durthamin and Fadendan. I can't speculate that's them because we don't have a clear depiction of them for the most part. There are some murals and some statues of something depicting them in some forms or another, but not very clear silhouette forms. So it's very hard for me to say that this is Fadendan or Druil or Ghilannon. It's very hard for me to say that. So I'm more inclined to believe that this is just Mythal and Elganon as just the symbols of the Elven Gods returning. And that's just where it is. The two orbs again could be representative of the fact that the two old gods are going to be awoken once Sodas does this. So very, very possible. Not sure how much I buy into it, but that could be something that will take place. My only thing is, I don't think we're going to get the fight against Sodas, fight the Avenurus, and fight two Darkspawn archdemons all in one game. That would be a lot. That would be awesome, but that's a lot. I think that's more like, I think this is more building up to like the next 2-3 games later. Like, because there's one thing Soda's done, now we have to fight all of these other things now that's going on. Like, it's plunging the world into deeper chaos, which very well may be the case. So, who's to say? Maybe he does awaken the other two old gods and causes 2 more blights and everything. Now we have to fight 2 more blights in another game and the elven gods now. So, I don't know, we gotta see how that turns out. But then we have, so this is a depiction of himself as Finn Harel coming down, more than likely against the veil, breaking it and releasing like the Fade into the real world. And if it's the Fade in this depiction, then I'm inclined to believe that the city here is the Dark City or the Golden City, depending on our interpretation of it, or the maker, or rather the Chantry's depiction of it. But my question is then why are there 2 cities? Because of every interpretation or every thing we've seen of the Black City, there's only ever seen as pretty much being one. But here in this mural, there's 2 cities, kind of like literally bridged together. So that's kind of throwing me off. Unless I'm literally forgetting how the Black City is depicted, I don't think there's ever been 2 cities together in those depictions. I think it's always looked just like one. Even when I bring up the Black City in some like concept art or the small things we can see from like the Fate and Inquisition, I can't 100% say that the Black City was 2 cities united by a bridge. That's kind of weird. But again, the Black City kind of always changes a little bit in each new game, from like the comics to the games themselves. The Black City always is somewhat different, but the murals just somewhat throwing me off. But maybe that's just my own, like, I don't know, unable to like really grasp the fact that the Black City might just change from what we initially know. If that is just the Black City, then that's the Black City. It's just somewhat different, just fine. But the real thing about the city is the fact that it has red lyrium just coursing through it. You just see veins of red lyrium, which goes with the theory that the Black City was tainted by red lyrium, or like red lyrium was used as a weapon, which was my own theory about that a little while back. So maybe it's that. Maybe we're gonna get confirmation on what actually happened with the Black City, which would be cool. I would love to see it. So we got that. So Black City, gonna be, perhaps we get answers for that finally, along with the Elvenaris coming back. Now another question we have is, what's up with with the eyes of Finn Harel? He has 6, but they're a little abstract. Like, they don't all match up, which is really weird. And given the fact with the last teaser trailer, it was Soda's kind of going towards the Red Lyrium idol, it might be leading to the fact that, oh, he uses Red Lyrium, now he's kind of tainted or blighted in some kind of way, which may also play into the fact that his Finn Harel form has, red fangs now. That might be the case. That's very possible. It'll be interesting considering the fact that he himself has like a huge thing against Darkspawn and Red Lyrium and all that. Like, he's been adamantly like against it, or just like disgusted by it or whatever. But it'll be interesting if that's the route he took and kind of used Red Lyrium to do whatever he's about to do. So, or maybe the Red Lyrium, maybe it's just a juxtaposition of he's going to use it in a form, but he's himself isn't going to like consume it or anything. Maybe it's just a catalyst for something he's going to use, which may also be that. So that'll be interesting. I can't honestly say what's up with his eyes. His eyes themselves are weird. I can't honestly tell you or depict anything what the eyes may mean. If I think about it more, if I look more into it, maybe I can find an answer, but I'll be honest, I don't want to speculate about something and take a random guess as to what his eyes and the positions and why they look so deformed on him means. My best guess is the Red Lyrium thing, but I don't know. It's kind of hard to say and depict what it is. It might be his own mind saying he's strayed from something, or he's not overall happy. He's gonna look more like a monster than he did before, but I'm not sure. It's kind of hard to say. But other than that, I don't have much more about the trailer. Like, I'm happy we finally got a trailer for Dragon Age 4. As short as it was like less than 2 minutes. Like, legitimately, it's like maybe like a minute 20 seconds that we got the trailer, and it's amazing. I love it. We didn't get a release date, which is fine. Again, I'm expecting it 2022, 2023 at the latest. Which that's, if it's 2023, that's gonna oh man, that's a long ways away now. So I don't know. I would expect another trailer probably at E3 2021. Maybe then we'll get a better idea of what the gameplay is gonna be like. Maybe. Or we may get it at PAX East, because usually BioWare has been very notable at PAX most times. But if we don't get it, the next big event I think we're gonna get is maybe E3 or something, or maybe at EA Play. That might be it, because EA has been doing their own little thing nowadays. But overall, this trailer was fun. I did enjoy it. I do like it. I do like the hints that we're getting of it. I do really look forward to this. But as much as I love lore, as much as I love characters, I think the one thing I look more forward to is just exploring more of Thedas, because I look forward to going into Ventur. I look forward, if that really was Antiva, I look forward to that, because knowing more about those areas is what I really love to see, because I don't particularly know a lot about each of the cities, because even though I read the lore and I read the codexes and everything about them, until I'm actually like in them in the game, I can't take a lot of it in just from that. I kind of like literally in the game, I want to get my feet on the ground and kind of explore that city to kind of get an idea of what it's like. And I think that's a better interpretation of like how I can interpret the city and the lore and their meaning behind it when my actual character is in that city and just exploring around. So I look forward to that more than anything. This also, just to kind of go back to my own little theories, fact, if we do get like Antiva to Ventur and like more of Thedas, even if we get hints of like the Anderfelds and Ravain, this could kind of also help prove my theory about, Flemeth and her daughters, which, if there's anyone that you should add to this game, anyone, it better be Yavanna. I better see Yavanna or another one of Flemeth's daughters. I'm not saying I have to romance her, don't get me wrong, I would, because that would make my Inquisitor kind of related to my new protagonist if they both date Flemeth's daughters. Okay, that's speculation over. Speculation over about that. Just, that's my own little wish. But that's it for my speculation video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Please like, share, and comment on the video. And also, make sure you go check out every other DA YouTuber's theory or speculation video, because I know they did it and they probably have a way better idea of what's going on with than mine. So go check their stuff out. Anyway, I want to thank you guys very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and comment. I already said that. And I'll see you next time in the next video. Little Wolfpack, Benarel, and Unsolved.